Hello everyone, how are we all doing? I'm Mark Suxford and welcome to my podcast, People Behind Brands. Brought to you by Making Websites Better. In each episode, I'm joined by an inspirational guest to hear more about their life lessons and how it's shaped them into who they are today. To never miss an episode, subscribe to exclusive content now and follow us on our social media platforms. People Behind Brands, life lessons from the world of business.
But unfortunately, he drowned, and he's in the ocean. His body washed up 3 days later, and it was quite a traumatic experience, as you'd imagine. We all bottled it up, I think, as kids, but it's sort of in the back of my mind, you know.
Men's fashion empire, Wear London, is the brainchild of today's guests, Alex Hayes and Matt Lea. The dynamic duo have a passion for the industry and are proud to help keep UK manufacturing alive, one stitch at a time, through premium products at affordable prices. Alex and Matt love what they do, and if they can have a few laughs along the way, then why not? But it's not all been plain sailing. The pioneers open up about their personal struggles and delve deeper into what makes them who they are today. Join us as we explore their journey and how they provide their ultimate customer experience from the very first touch point.
Alex and Matt, welcome to People Behind Brands podcast. An absolute pleasure to have you with us both today. So how are we doing? Where can we find you today?
We've been visiting 4 of our factories this morning, sorting out some fabric, sorting out prices, going through quality and delivering hangers, and then get back to our office. And then, it's all go, mate. It's all go.
Good. No, it's good to hear you busy. Obviously, I think we met really for the first time earlier this week, didn't we, Alex? Really. So
yeah.
I know I've sort of come across you before, Matt, but yeah, really good to obviously meet in person the first time the other day. So that was all good. Obviously in Wear London, buy more clubber. So it's always good. Went away from that with a jacket, shirt, and a t-shirt. So
that was a beautiful jacket you bought, by the way.
Yeah, it's very good. As you know, it's great quality, and that's why I keep coming back really from that point of view. But I'll come into all of that shortly. So, yeah, Alex and Matt join us today to discuss their life lessons in front of the classic British menswear brand Wear London. I first became across Wear London a couple of years ago as I explored the streets that surround the Spitalfields Market in central London. Matt, along with his colleague, welcomed me in the store, and it was like I'd known them forever. There were no pushy sales efforts, just genuine recommendations on what might look good. In my opinion, you can never put a price on great customer experience. Fast forward a couple of years later, and I've lost count of the amount of garments I've bought over the years. I've purchased jackets, shirts, caps, much more from this incredible menswear brand. Premium garments at affordable prices. If you haven't heard all things Wear London before, you certainly will now. But we're not just here to talk shop. Today we touch upon the life lessons of 2 gents fulfilling their passion. So when I first met you, Matt, I thought, to be fair, you guys were related. I thought you were father and son. So it kind of shows, though, that you two do have that kind of very sort of close relationship. So how was that kind of materialised?
Well, I am trying to adopt him as we speak. Well, I'll tell you how it started. He took me for a haircut in Hong Kong. That's how it started, and I haven't got any hair like you.
Yeah.
One of those new apprentice sort of questions, like go and find tartan paint or
Yeah.
a glass hammer or something like that.
Yeah.
Take Matt for a haircut. Sorry.
So I think how it started was basically that I was in Hong Kong, and Alex was working out there, and I was sort of subcontracting for this company from China, which we still got that business actually. And we struck up a friendship there and then. And Alex came back to London, and basically I said to the guy who owned the company, I had an office there, and I was sort of he was financing my orders, and I said I want him to come and work for me. You know, he was doing shorts, I believe, at the time, and he said whatever you want. So I took him on, and that was, God knows how many years ago, 10 years ago, maybe more. Maybe more.
It was like 2006 or something. Well, that's when we first met.
Yeah, a long time ago. And we started working on jackets. We mainly from China, and then we got taken over by a corporate company. I didn't really fit in, to be honest, and so I left. Took my business with me. I had my factory already set up in China, And I just said to Alex, come and join me if you want to. Take that leap of faith, as it were. And that was 8 years ago, was it? 8 years ago? I've lost 17. Yeah. And then, subsequent things have happened since then, and Where London being one of them, basically.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah. So, in terms of your kind of each other's sort of strengths and weaknesses, what would you say they are if you were to suggest each other's?
Well, I just to sort of build on what Matt was saying as well, the Chinese business is where it all started, but he's always had the UK manufacturing for over 30 years, I suppose.
40 years.
40 years, making for other brands.
Yeah.
So we've always made in the UK, and that's where our sort of passion really lies. And we've done it for other brands. And in COVID, all that came to a halt for obvious reason, but we had to keep the factory busy. So we put our money where our mouths were, basically, and set up our own brand. And it was a stopgap initially because we didn't know at the time how long COVID was going to go on for. But it's I'd like to say it's a grand plan, but it's like a happy accident, really, that we are where we are now. And it's something we're going to continue. But going back to the question about strengths and weaknesses, I'd say Matt's great strength. He's the driving force behind it all. That's the Chinese business and the UK business.
Yeah.
Never loses that effervescent way of his. He's up every day, grafting, and actually, I think that's one of the reasons we get on well, because my own old man he was, before I met Matt, the hardest working bloke I'd ever met. So grown up work ethic, and then to work with Matt, it's the same thing. But Matt also tells you how to play well with it as well. So you can have that lunch, you can have that glass of wine or whatever it is, So there's a good balance there. But yeah, his strength's definitely sort of, leading the way for us all, really. And we're on his coattails to a certain
very, very, very kind of you to say. But I mean, listen, I'm a Luddite when it comes to all things computer. I'm at an age where it sort of passed me by. Alex is just a whiz on the computer, gets everything done, makes everything clear for the factories, because it's very difficult working with factories. If you in England, we work virtually hands-on, and it's still difficult because you have to explain things, you have to go through things, and Alex crosses the T's and dots the I's. That's what he does. He's brilliant at that, where I'm a bit more slapdash. But my sort of major strength in Where London would be, I'm quite good on fabric. I've worked with fabric all my life, but the main thing I've worked with is people and relationship. And I've garnered a special relationship with 3 of my mills in Italy that spans since I'm 66 now, since I was 21. And those boys, I've always looked after them, and vice versa. And Where London would never have started unless I had their support from a financial point of view, from a fabric point of view. Obviously, their fabrics there, and from helping me out, letting me buy fabrics that were overs, that were experiments, that were loads of different reasons why they've got these fabrics in stock. And it suited us because it was 70 meters of this, 100 meters of this, 50 meters, 20 meters. And that enabled us to start in a small way and build the business. So connections.
So when we talk about the team at kind of Where London, so obviously, you guys are at the top of the chain there, but you've got guys within the shops that you have at the moment. Obviously, they're front and center of that as well. So talk to us about that kind of dynamic there as well, because obviously they're a part of this journey as well.
Well, the guys we've got have all been discarded in the past. I mean, fashion is a young man's game. But having said that, most people are still on top, like Ralph Lauren, Paul Smith, Armani. They're well into their 70s and 80s now. So it's not a young man's game at all. It's about having the eye, and if you've got the eye, you just don't lose it, But I think people dumped on the scrap heap too early, and a lot of our guys who work for us have been dumped on the scrap heap. And I think
they've come from big brands, haven't they?
Yeah, I'll give you an instance. My brother, who I'm very proud to say that I've given an opportunity in Where London to, he used to run Full Circle and Firetrap. When they got bought out, the business is shrinking, that type of business shrink, the middle market. And he ended up swimming in Canvey Island for minimum wages. Lost his confidence, and this business enabled him to get back in the business as well, which has been one of my greatest achievements, I think. Helping my brother out, as well as some of my friends who work on the shop floor, and that we offer old-fashioned service, talking to customers, inquiring where they come from, what do they do, just and dressing them basically, and helping them basically. It's a level of service that's long since gone in this business, but we've kind of brought it back.
That's the front-facing side of it. They're such a good team, as you know. They'll always try and help out. It's that old-fashioned service, and guys like to be dressed, and they know how to dress, and they'll put an outfit together. But what allows us to do what we're doing, Matt and I as well, is the people in the background as well, who you don't really see, and that's our third partner, who sort of he's doing stuff we wouldn't be good at, which is the spreadsheets, the finance side of things like that. So he doesn't often get a lot of credit. We're sort of front of house, if you like. We get to do the lunches and so on, but and running around to the factories. But he's in the background as well. He's an important part of the team as well.
Just to put you in the picture, this guy, his name's Jim. When I was 19, he gave me my first opportunity in this business, and I worked with him for 12 years. Then I started my own business, and I've always been a great one for repaying favours. Always, I always look to someone's done me a good turn. I have to do a good turn in return, and it just happened. It was like 30 years later that this opportunity came about. I phoned him, although I'd seen it intermittently over the years. I phoned him and said, "Look, mate, you gave me a chance at 19. I've given you a chance at God knows how old he was, 64, I think he was at that stage, to come in and run this business and offer your expertise, which his expertise is on bottoms, jeans and trousers and stuff like that. Done it all his life, and." So it was an opportunity to get him involved as well, and he's enjoyed the journey. So
sounds great. I mean, I obviously agree with that point about when you as a customer going into the shop, obviously various shops you've got now. So going into there, and they ask you, who you are, what do you do, all that sort of stuff, and actually try to get to know you. It's not just selling a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, or whatever. It's really you build that sort of customer relationship. And obviously going in there the other day, and the guy recognised me straight away, and he probably deals with hundreds of people a week. So there's things like that where that's quite a nice touch from a customer point of view. So I completely agree with that.
When we saw you, when I met you for the first time face to face the other day, as I came in the door, Gary pulled me to one side, said he's a great customer, that guy at the back. And I looked up and said, "Oh, it's Mark." That's obviously when I recognised you from the picture. I would say, "Oh," so I know he is. We've been chatting. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. So
he recognises everybody. And the other guy, the other shop, they just, even though they're at an age where they should be losing their mind, they do recognise everybody.
As we said, Alex, I mean, obviously it's the first time we met each other the other day, but I'm intrigued to obviously find out a little bit more about you. So, what do you think obviously makes this brand so much, more special?
It's very special to me, and I should probably speak to Matt as well, because it's like our baby, basically. And sometimes I become especially emotionally attached to it. So often you've got to try and make business decisions, but you end up making an emotional one instead. Whereas when we're dealing with our customers, you can see it in black and white. This is what we think you should be doing. Why aren't you doing it? So now I'm in that position where, we're essentially the customer, if you like, and making those emotional decisions. So it's important not to fall into that trap. But I think we wouldn't compare ourselves to Gucci or anyone like that. We'd never dream to. But what we do offer is affordable quality. We don't have layers of people that we have to pay. It's straight from the factory to the shop floor, and we know how to construct a jacket. Matt's been doing it for years and years, and sort of I've inherited that knowledge as well now. That we don't. It doesn't come with all bells and whistles. It's not branded. It's simple. That's our motto: keep it simple, and it's all about timing. So simple styling, great fabric, great fit, great prices. We think, considering the most of our stuff is made in the UK. the great service as well.
Mm.
And if there's, we don't claim to be the best in the world. We make mistakes, and if that's the case, we'll always try and fix it. But that's the service we're trying to offer. And there's a nice story to it. As the business grows and grows, we're finding it more and more difficult to make everything in the UK. But that's our core value, and that's where we'll always have a base. And the guys in store sell that story. It's a bit more difficult online. But again, we're new to retail, we're new to all of it, but we're enjoying the process. Actually, it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, I mean, so when was the company founded? What year was it?
It was bang in the middle of COVID, so 2020. Yeah, we went live in 2020 September, something like that. And in between all that, there was lockdowns and all the things that were going on basically. And again, we did it to fill a gap in the factory until our regular customers came back. We didn't know at the time if COVID was 2 months, 6 months, whatever it was. It turned out to be 2 years or whatever. And so we had to do another order and another and keep it going. Then we built the website. Then we put a rail of clothes in a friend's pop-up shop. They sold well, so we thought maybe we should try our own. Did it for a couple of weeks. That went well. So it's kind of been quite an organic sort of growth. I hate that word organic, but that's what it has been. And we've got the right people controlling it. So a lot of these brands, I think, get the front end right with a nice shiny website and photography and the design, I suppose, to a certain degree. But when you get the product, quality's not great. We're the other way. We get the fabric right and the quality and the fit, but we're not great at selling it online and things like that because that's not where our skill lies, if you see what I mean. But when people do get the product, they see it's good for what it is and they come back for more, as you've done and several others. So much so we're going to name a jacket after you, as I've been promised a while. But that will happen.
I think to a certain degree, it's a little bit, if I can use the word serendipity, in the respect that we've hit a period of time whereby I don't think people generally want to go around as a walking billboard for someone else's name, basically. Yeah, and I think that also someone like Sports Direct is taking over that market. Because it's buying into all these brands like Stone Island, Hugo Boss, all these logoed brands, putting the independents out of business. That's their aim, and everything will be controlled by Sports Direct, which is a lot of the high street is controlled by Sports Direct. So, and we've hit on where we can open anywhere. There's no one to stop us opening anywhere. Because no one's runs our brand. We're the owners and keepers of the brand. It's not logoed. It's just nice stuff made well, understated, and there's no real age limit. We get people from 20 to people of 80. I know it sounds weird, 80. We actually got a 93-year-old who shops regularly with us, but it's hopefully regularly.
We're thinking of giving them a job, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. We're too young, but
the youth training.
Yeah, but with it's just nice stuff. Simply, when on a Saturday, I work Saturday because it's invaluable to get the feedback from customers. And some of the guys say, "Oh, that's the guy who designs the jackets over there," and they go, especially if they come from America, go, "Hey, how'd you do it, man?" And all this business. I said, "Well, I don't. That's the thing. You don't design it because I've been doing it for so long. You just change the pockets round or change it. As long as you've got the good shape, which we've garnered over 40 years perfecting patterns, and as long as you've got good fabric, just stick a couple of pockets on and make a nice shape out of it. And honestly, it's all you need to do because and there's no layers and filters to go through for someone to say, take that off, do this, because that's when you end up with a mess. But we just end up with simple clothes made well, and that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, we've obviously mentioned about the customer experience, obviously going into the store and areas like that. But how is kind of the digital area? So like social media, Instagram, whatever it might be in terms of platforms. How do you feel that has sort of benefited Wear London moving forward?
That side of it is a minefield for us, and We don't know a lot about it. We've got a sort of a company that's helping us out with the socials, with the ads and the analytics and things like that. And we get bombarded a lot by companies offering, amazing returns on minimum spend. So it's hard. It's a necessary evil almost, because it takes up quite a bit of our time with the shoots and trying to make it look nice, but for not a huge return. But we do get a lot of people in store saying, "Oh, I saw your website online, looks great, so I thought I'd come and check it out." So although we don't get as many sales online as we'd like, we think it does drive traffic into the store. It's hard to measure how much, but you have to have a website. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't just rely on retail these days. So, and if we get more stores, hopefully that will naturally snowball alongside it. So, and we're not. It's a small part of the budget, really. We should throw a lot more at it. When I speak to other brands, they're throwing a lot of cash at it. And because we've got the stores and they're the main driver of the business, we focus a bit more on that.
Our podcast is, founded upon honesty and how testing times have impacted, good or bad, on a personal and working life. So, away from the business, where London or other sort of interest, can you tell us about a challenging time in your life that made you who you are today? Maybe we start off with Alex.
Yeah, I was thinking there's a few, but I think a major thing that happened in my life was when I was in school, 17, and my best mate. It's quite morbid. Unfortunately, he passed away. His name was Alex as well, Alex Mayer. I was Alex Hayes, he's Alex Mayer. So when we were always together, it was mayonnaise, people used to call us. And I won't go into too much detail, but unfortunately, he drowned. And he's in the ocean, his body washed up 3 days later. And it was quite a traumatic experience, as you'd imagine. We all bottled it up, I think, as kids. But it's sort of in the back of my mind, And I just thought, when you're 17, you're invincible, aren't you? And nothing can happen to you, whatever you do. And I think it was a bit of a slap in the face. And at that time, I sort of promised myself that, if an opportunity arises, if there's a chance to travel the world, which I did, all these things, I'm going to grab it and do it, because without sounding cheesy, tomorrow's promised to no one, is it? Yeah. So that at a young age sort of was quite a sort of defining moment, I think, for me. And if I'm making a decision in life on what to do, I'll think back and say, you've only got one chance. As long as there's not too much risk involved, obviously, go for it.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm up in Hong Kong, seeing Matt, travel around the world, all of those things, and a lot of that's thanks to my wife as well. I moved from South Wales up to London, and she's opened a whole new world to me, because. That coming from what I did, traveling around the world was a bit of a pipe dream. But when I met her and ended up in London, she came from a background that sort of showed that you can do it, and we did do it, and lots of things since then. Starting up these businesses is one of the things as well. So
I think a tragedy like that happening anyway, even it is obviously not great, and obviously very sad for you. But it's that age point in your life, that's obviously where you make sort of decisions and you grow into obviously being a man, really. So it's I can imagine how difficult that must have been. But I mean, Matt, is there anything that you would like to sort of share from a personal perspective?
I'll take you back as well. I was 13 and a half, I think, maybe 14, and my mother died, and she left behind 6 kids, basically, than my dad, and I was the oldest, so it was my responsibility to look after them, get them ready for school, because my dad was a night worker. So me and my sister, just a couple of years down from me, that was our job, to keep the family together, as it was, most nights the world full of people trying to, get us into care and stuff like that. So it was a difficult time, and I was being bullied at school. So, that period of my life was pretty shocking. But got through it, maybe stronger, kept the family together, and we got through it. And then I suppose, he left school, he didn't know what he wanted to do, and just to bring us round to where London story is, I went to work one day, cut off 3 of my fingers, lost my trade, and that was when I not met, but he was living next door to me, the guy Jim, who's involved in the business today. That my dad went round his house and said, "Give my son a job. He's lost his trade. He's lost his just most of his hand, and he can't do much. But he's just dossing around the house with a big payoff. But so that's when I got into the menswear game. He was in the menswear business, and I haven't looked back since. It was something that I was pretty natural at. I've always liked clothes, I suppose, and not I suppose, definitely. And I started with him, and that was 1920, and not 1920, but I was 19 or 20.
Yeah,
that's actually 1914 when I started to start the First World War. It was I was 19 or 20, and I learned a lot from that first experience. And literally at 32, went on my own, and have been in that, on my own ever since, if you like. Not on my own, but running my own business. So that was probably, don't get more life changing than losing half your hand and losing your mum. So
yeah. Do you think some of those sort of personal aspects have obviously led to why Where London is such a family unit?
Yeah, maybe subconsciously.
Yeah, subconsciously. I think I've always believed in looking
You've
after.
always looked after people.
Yeah, I've always looked after people. I'm one of them people that like, if I'll give you an example, is my friend today is going to Italy, and I've arranged everything for him. I've arranged his hotel, I've arranged to have the best room, I've arranged the 2 best restaurants, I've arranged everything sorted out for him. And he just sent me a text. He plays for my football team. He's just sent me a text and said, "Can't believe you've done this for me." Do you know what I mean? I play for your football team. He's a friend, of course, but not a close friend. But I do, I tend to try and help people if I can. It gives me pleasure. So, if it gives them, if it sorts them out, if he has a great time, then I'm happy.
I mean, touching upon that kind of sort of family element, then, I mean, it's obviously clear that continuing momentum and working on your own business involves a lot of hours and drive. But how much of an impact does that have on your sort of personal life? When you talk about having like a young family and, having just a family anyway, how much of an impact does that have?
Yeah, well, I believe it or not, I've got 4 kids, so I come to work for a break. So no, it does. But fortunately, I've got a supportive partner, so she's not. She's very supportive. If we've got trips coming out to Italy or China or wherever we're going, there's never an issue at all. She's all about looking after the family, and it's a massive help for me to not worry about things like that. Obviously on the weekends it's full on, and we share all the duties there. But she's solid as a rock, and that's massively important. So I can come to work and concentrate on what we're doing without the pressures of what's going on at home.
Yeah, definitely.
But my situation is different. After 43 years of marriage, I find myself a single man. So, and maybe that's got something to do with the business. I don't want to blame the business, but I've always been full on in business. I don't know. It just never leaves you. You don't sort of, especially now you've got retail shops. You whatever you do, you're listening to that ching of the cash register and stuff like that. And I work in the store on Saturday. And maybe I've done too much, but you know what? I love it. So
So do you think your sort of drive for success has maybe impacted sort of personal relationships in a way?
Yeah, I guess so. In the end, but I've had a wonderful 42 years. We produced 2 fantastic children, and we're the best of friends. And strangely enough, she's still involved in my business today. She's helped me for the last 30 years, and that won't change. I will always support and look after her. But we found ourselves sort of apart, and I am a bit of a workaholic. I have to admit that. it's something that's in me. I can't, I can't stop. But as Alex said, you work hard, play hard. There you go. That's good. That's a good. What's the word I'm looking for? Analogy or whatever it is. It's the way I sort of live. Work hard, play hard. There you go.
Yeah, no, I agree. So obviously, where London continues to be the front and centre of your minds, but away from work, obviously we've touched upon the sort of the family areas as well. But any sort of hobbies, interests, or any sort of business interests going on at the moment?
The one thing we do get to do together outside of work is a bit of football.
Yeah.
Matt Lasso in Carnate. He's the manager of the football team, and we have a run around on a Sunday. We do a trip to Italy once a year. We play some of the old Italian pros. We're very, very good.
Yeah, Juventus, Fiorentina, Bologna.
So we get properly put in our place there. Yeah. But it's that's another family as well, isn't it?
We try to we play every Sunday. It's a proper league. It's a veterans league. I've been a manager for 25 years for these boys. I play occasionally myself. I used to play a lot, and I think we fostered such a great team spirit amongst us. We have presentation dues. We have nights out, a trip to Italy. So from that perspective, I mean, Alex gets up on a Sunday morning and travels 80 miles, the round journey to play for this team. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. But everyone adores each other. Everyone looks after each other. Everyone fights for each other on the pitch, and it's a wonderful team spirit that I've ever known playing football my life. And I guess Alex has done the same, played football most of his life. And the team spirit that we fostered there is quite incredible. So
it sounds like, Alex, that obviously it's not just playing football; it's being part of a kind of that sort of family unit again, in a way where you're part of a squad, a part of a group of lads that probably look after each other, and obviously want to go out and play football. So is that really what it is? Why you make that 80-mile sort of trek?
100%. And don't forget, going back, like I said, I'm from Swansea originally. I'd lived up in London now because I also got married and so on. So all my mates are down there. So I get the group chats when they're all inviting each other out for a beer on a sunny sort of evening like this time of year. And I'm sort of the only one who's not there. So this is my group of mates, really. So driving down on a Sunday, you get a little bit of time to yourself, a couple of thoughts to yourself, play the game, come back, and then back to it. So it's a nice sort of keep fit at the same time, but it's a nice sort of little escape as well, and sort of be in that male environment as well, with a load of lads, so that's great as well.
Yeah. Well, listen, lads, obviously it's been an absolute pleasure to sit down with you both. Been looking forward to this one. So, thank you for your time today. Perhaps you'd like to sort of finish off by telling everyone where they can find Wear London, either online or in store, and how they can benefit from obviously the experience, but also the clothing as well.
Yeah, well, we've got two stores currently, both in Shoreditch. One's on Hanbury Street, near Truman Brewery, and the other one is on Brushfield Street, if anyone knows the area, not far from Liverpool Street. They're about 300 yards apart, which sounds crazy, but they work perfectly well for us. We've got the website, which is www.wear-london.co.uk and also .com. And then we've got the socials as well, where you can buy through there.
And I think, if they come in, they get great service, they get nice clothes, understated, if they're into that kind of fashion, understated fashion. And eventually, they're going to be able to buy the Tuxford jacket.
Yeah.
They will, yes. Eventually, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely going to be worth waiting for, but it will definitely come this autumn. We've got the style, and we've got the fabric now. So we're just waiting to produce it. So
when it does come in, we'll get you in for a photo shoot.
It'll be good.
Yeah. So that's where you can get it, and you'll get great. What you've experienced, it's great quality, it's great fabric. It's an investment, and it's not expensive. So and it's made majority of the time made in the UK.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you haven't already been to Wear London, as Alex and Matt say, all you blokes out there, this is a place to be if you want to wear the latest old school kind of trends. So make sure you join us next time for a brand new guest as we continue with more life lessons from the world of business. Ladies and gentlemen, Wear London's finest, Alex and Matt.
So that's it for this episode of People Behind Brands. If you like what you heard today, do yourself a favour, subscribe to our exclusive content now and follow us on our social media when you search People Behind Brands podcast or at podcast PBB. Join us next time for a brand new guest as we explore more life lessons from the world of business. We'll see you soon. Ta-da!